Hello, my name is Zap, and this is Star Trek Armada 2 Fleet Operations. I have a tournament game today of the Spring Tournament 2018 between Old Time Pro in the purple, his signature color with his signature race, the Borg, versus ShadoWdeGrey in his signature color of orange with his signature race, the Klingons. Martok Klingons, as you can tell by the torpedo in the starbase. Facing off against each other as a Group C game, I believe, of the second round of the tournament. And, well, what is there to say? OTP is the reigning champion of the last tournament, the last big one in Spring 2K13 or something like that, I believe. And Shadow is just a well-known and strong player, mostly playing with the Klingons. I should say we just had played a game which unfortunately ended after like half an hour in a disconnect because tunnel is being dumped and OTP dropped from it. So the two players have just faced off on another map but with the same races. So they might expect some certain things from each other now. We will see. We will see what they'll do. OTP is starting with his dilithium mining, which is something you do if you want to build a lot of offensive ships. What is Shadow doing? He is starting with Quebecs, which is not unexpected. And he is sending out one constructor to the left expansion. Typically on Duel II, which is what this map is, you start with your primary expansion up here, because the moons are a little closer together and it's closer to your main base as opposed to the moon pair down here, where the moons are farther apart from each other and you need two mining bases to efficiently mine this, and it's farther away from your base. Anyway, Quebecs are going up. I assume nodes 1 are just about to finish. We're going to see scoops. Shadow knows this. OTP knows. Shadow is expanding to the left. And he has started probes as well. Just about to get his 10th CC and will pop the scoop chassis most likely. The next node is going up. Scoop's going up. It's building. It's finishing in 30 seconds, so it's either an offensive or a defensive one, meaning regen or intercept module, not EM, because EM takes longer to build. OTP is just scouting. And Shadow is building a second field yard at his base Tritanium. This will cover these miners well against some early game aggression, as they can just go into the yard and repair when they are being threatened by some cranky scout cubes and probes. But what will he do to defend his expansion? This is the big question. Is he going to trust that OTP doesn't know about this? He does. He has scouted this. And he is coming down with his first scoop, an intercept scoop, doing extra damage against small ships. Just about to be able to pop the next scoop chassis. This is constructor. It's going further up in the middle. Pushing the constructors further up towards your enemy is a common move as a Borg player, because this will just reduce the time that ships will have to fly towards the enemy, and in the very early game there's just nothing that can kill a constructor early enough. Like, here's one Quebec now, can just not kill this. Doesn't matter that it's not right next to the base. This is what Shadow is doing. He's building a third field yard to protect his expansion dilithium. Now this won't protect this Tritanium as well, but against just a scoop and a probe, or maybe even the second pair, these two miners and the constructor obviously should be safe with this field yard here. Now, they're going to exchange some fire. This miner has gone into the yard and is repairing. Now this is a dangerous situation because it's locked in here for however long it takes to unload this. If he doesn't get in the yard in just the right time, he might be able to lose them, especially when he gets more firepower, but right now these two ships are just not enough to kill this ship, even when it is unloading. And here comes the Quebec to shoot back and put some damage on these cubes and probes, which they cannot repair, which is always good. Every point against Borg that you do, every point of damage that you do against Borg counts. But OTP is not distracted too much for this. Just goes towards the next moon pair. Finds there's also a yard sitting here, attacking a miner, doing a decent amount of damage with all these intercept modules, and fails to get the kill with just 3 ships. Now with the extra probe in there, this might look different already. And there's also another 3rd intercept cube. With that, he should be able to get a minor kill on one of these yarded expansions before the ships get in. Not necessarily a kill on a Quebec, which is 3 now? Yeah. He's double-yarding Quebecs. Has 3. But yes, if the 3rd cube comes down as well, and there it comes, I don't think he'll be able to cycle these miners anymore. Now, he's just in front of the yard entrance. Now he's putting damage on this one, so it stays in the yard. And he's going to refocus some fire on this one, so that this one's cannot go into the yard because this one is still being shot, and he managed to get the kill with that, denying its entrance into the yard. And yes, even this Quebec goes down if it isn't waiting right in front of the yard entrance. That is the power of intercept cube, of the 3 cube 2 probe rush. Just being able to dish out so much firepower so early in the game that all these small ships cannot get in the yard just in time. Nope. This Quebec is also going to make it just by cloaking. If he plays this right, he might even be able to kill the constructor. He's still, he's splitting his fire against some ships, shooting the ship in the yard, which is a Quebec, it's not even a miner, just gonna say Katinga. And some shooting the constructor. And there comes a 4th cube, because adding more damage to the bunch is always a good thing. All of these ships, except for the probe I guess, are still... Actually, did he lose one of his probes? But all of his cubes are still in reasonably good health, so he's not in immediate danger of losing any. Yeah, there goes the constructor, it's dead. Now this one, if he stops shooting it, it will go out of the yard, and the ships can just pop that one as well, the Quebec. Either that or it cloaks just in time, perhaps it runs away. Now, what does Shadow have left? He has 1, 2, 3, 4 Quebecs against 4 cubes and a probe. Perhaps, yeah, there's a 2nd one, which has just come back, and another 5th cube. Now 3 Quebecs versus 5 cubes plus some dead-ish probes is not a fight you want to take. There's another Quebec. This is 5 Quebecs now, is it? But no, he just kills a miner, gets back out. Another Quebec. Is it gonna eat it? I'm pretty sure it's gonna eat it. It's just too much damage. Damaged cube, retreating. Getting a Quebec kill, definitely worth it. Is he gonna get another one? Yes, he is. This one is not going to get in the yard in time. All these intercept modules doing so much damage. But Shadow still has a decent bunch of ships, and he's forced a 2nd cube to retreat, which is going to be out of commission for quite a while. Going to body up with these 2 damaged probes. Probably going to form a secondary raiding unit later if Shadow decides he wants to put miners back on his moon or something, or expand elsewhere. Just keeping the pressure up while trying to avoid actual combat. While these ships go where there's going to be actual fleet action involved. Now 3 cubes isn't wide enough to take on a bunch of Quebecs, but he only has 4. Say if Shadow was to expand here, then these ships would be going to put a stop to that. Yeah. Looks like he hasn't quite scouted this with the scout there. So it's just sitting right below the expansion. He just still went there with his cubes. Check it. Shadow is going left with his ships. 5, 6 Quebecs are out again. He should be able to see these ships right next to the nebula. If he can get in position here, right next to the damaged ships on the other side of the nebula, and uncloak, he can probably get 1 or 2 kills. He can probably even follow them into the nebula without too much fear of losing on anything. And get a couple easy kills. Deny the Borg some of the ships. Now, OTP is not doing much of anything with his primary, with his undamaged ships right now, because there isn't all that much to do. Just 3 ships. It's not necessarily enough to kill these miners, but he could still try to put on some pressure. Maybe Shadow's gonna make a mistake microing. Or maybe he's just going to deny him mining time. No, OTP goes with his damaged ships, which are a little bit repaired now, a little bit further up on the HP. And goes around, moved to motion to attack, but doesn't. Perhaps anticipating that Shadow is scouting him and trying to bait him into this nebula. If I was Shadow, I would take this. It's just a couple damaged ships, and Klingons actually have a decent amount of hit points on their ships in the hull. It's like 50-50 hit points split in the hull and shields. Whereas for other races it's more like 60 shields and 40% hull. And for the Federations even 70% shields, 30% hull. So they don't want to go in there, but Klingons can afford it a little bit, especially against some wounded Borg ships. But then, this is also just a bait operation, or functioned as one as well, to pull his ships away from his base dilithium. And these 2 miners gonna eat it. This one Quebec didn't want to engage too much. Gonna eat a little bit of starbase fire, but that is not too devastating here. Killed 2 miners. That is all of Shadow's dilithium mining. In fact, he only has 2 miners left. Ah, there he goes. Attacking the damaged cubes. Putting some more damage onto them. Yep, that's what you need to do. Yeah, you need to cloak this ship, get it out. Chase with the others, if you could. Unfortunately, cubes and them are faster. Oh, he's transporting on it. He's not going to get it. Well, I guess you might as well. It's not like you're going to really miss the crew on a Borg ship. Oh, Mr. Scube. Oh, the scout must have gotten into a nebula and been decloaked. Ah, now he's combined his fleets again. I guess the very damaged Scube is going to go back to repair, but these ships together should be able to make mincemeat out of some Katingas, Quebecs, if they get caught off base. In the bigger picture, what is OTP doing? He's not building a sphere. Oh, he is building a sphere. Because that's what OTP does. Keep the pressure up, keep the enemy confined to his base, and then follow up with a sphere. Well, they just don't have anything that can answer such a later game ship, such a mid-game ship, while they're still engaged in this early game unit skirmish. Being bogged down. And yes, OTP has total control of Shadow's map here. Oh, he saved 2 miners down there. And has he built another one? In any case, he's going to go back to the lithium mining, because he knows he needs it. Well, at this point I'd say the game is firmly in OTP's favor. Sphere's out. It is a classic triple regen 1 prime sphere, which is what I believe OTP has always favored. Going to go back to mining here. Now, Shadow would need to engage this and preferably get a kill or 2 on this small fleet, the fleet of small Borg ships. Yeah, that ship is going to eat it. Miner's going to die. And it looks like he's going to get 1 or 2 kills. Which is good, because he really needs to reduce that DPS that is going to be incoming from those Borg ships. Because with this sphere also going to be bearing down on his ships, he's not going to be able to take much additional firepower from the small ships that are still on the field. Now, sphere, high damage, high tanking ability, but can't get kills on his own. And there we go, a couple damaged ships, doing just what I said. Secondary raiding party. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough to break them just before they get in the yard, but it's still enough to be able to... Oh, he even got a constructor, but it's still going to be enough to force him to micro this, perhaps pay less attention elsewhere, and of course stop mining this dilithium moon over there. Now, he can't chase the sphere away, especially not through the nebula. Not with those couple of containers. Ah, yes, but he has forgotten about one of his miners here. He's probably going to lose the second too. Yes, it's dead. Where's his engagement? Ah, yes. The primary raiding fleet of the undamaged cubes, putting the hurt on this last dilithium miner here. The Quebec's just running around after this damaged fleet, which is already retreating. I think this is GG. OTP has not been idle, he's put a miner here and there. Just in case he gets attacked, doesn't have 2 miners on the same moon. Just has 1 here, 1 there. Should Shadow decide to raid with a bunch of ships, he wouldn't lose 2. I don't know that he really has enough ships to kill 2 Borg miners in quick succession right now. Oh, that ship was very close to time. Good decision here not to put this ship immediately into the yard, but to retreat it further to the starbase. It can outrun the sphere. And had it queued up to repair here, would have just been killed. No, he's just cycling this, trying to get a little bit of damage in. Yeah, I think you need to do damage to the small ships. Yes, get the probe. But now all the ships are bearing down on you, and you're 5, 6. Now 5 again. Quebec's are not going to be able to do much against it. It's mostly the small ships doing the damage at this point. And it's yeah, not enough. The Klingons succumbed to the pressure. There's nothing more to say. This has been very much like what OTP used to do back in the day when he won the spring tournament. He even won his championship game, and I believe one of the games in the prior group phases against another very highly valued Klingon player who was also not really be able to do much against this Borg pressure rush. There were some really good games there, but not today. Not Klingons shall not win today. Anyway, this game goes to OTP. And there's still a second game coming up. We'll see what the players say about that.